wishing all my dear viewers a wonderful new day filled with joy, peace, and positive energy. Today, we continue to follow the emotional and dramatic journey of Tuna. After the unexpected and tense events of yesterday, when her long-lost husband suddenly returned after years of disappearance, bringing with him a whirlwind of complications and schemes from his mother. How will Tuna face and handle it all? Will she stand her ground? Or will she once again be drawn into the painful cycle of the past? All will be revealed in today's intense and heartfelt episode. Join me as we step into the resilient inner world of Tuna to witness the choices she must make for her future and for her beloved daughter. Don't look away, the story is just beginning. On her way back from the market, with a heavy basket of vegetables in hand, Tuna suddenly froze in place when she saw a man standing at her gate, a familiar figure, with eyes full of sorrow and regret. Her heart skipped a beat, and for a moment she couldn't breathe. That man was her ex-husband, the one who had disappeared for more than 2 years and was believed to have passed away. Tuna stood frozen. Emotions flooded her all at once: shock, anger, disbelief, and a creeping fear awakened by old wounds. Before she could even react, the man stepped closer, gently placed his hand on her shoulder, and said in a trembling voice, "Ah, it's me. I'm alive." The air seemed to stand still. Tuna couldn't utter a word. For years she had lived in pain, believing that he was gone forever, raising their child alone, enduring judgment and whispers from everyone around. And now, here he was, standing right in front of her, as if nothing had ever happened. He gently guided her to sit on the bamboo chair in the yard. The breeze blew softly, but inside Tuna's heart, a storm was raging. The man looked at her with pleading eyes. "I know I was wrong. I left without a word, leaving you and our child all alone. But I've come back now. I want to bring you and our child home to live with me, with my mother. I'll take care of both of you and make up for all the years you had to endure everything by yourself." Tuna turned away, her heart torn. All these years, she had learned to live without this man. She had survived every humiliation, every hardship, earning every coin through sweat and tears. And now, when she had just begun to find peace beside her child and kind neighbors, he returned, dragging along the wounds of a past that had yet to fully heal. Hearing his words, all the anguish buried deep inside her surged up like a tide. She could no longer hold back. Tears streamed down her pale face, not just from emotion, but from years of suppressed pain. She broke down, crying as she confronted the man who once was her husband, the man she had once entrusted her entire heart to. Tuna, choking through sobs. "Where have you been all these years? You abandoned me, left me to carry everything on my own. Do you have any idea what I've been through? Do you even know that your mother kicked me out while I was still pregnant with your child?" She sobbed uncontrollably, her voice cracking. "When I gave birth, our child was sick and needed urgent surgery. I had to beg and borrow just to save our baby's life. I lived on watery porridge, wore torn clothes, just to keep him alive." At that point, Tuna stopped. She wanted to say more, maybe the most painful, most humiliating truths, but she bit her lip, clenched her teeth, and swallowed it all down. Her throat tightened, choked by bitter memories that still burned fresh. The man fell silent for a moment, then asked, confused and shaken, "What?" "My mother kicked you out. She told me you left on your own, went back to your hometown to work. I thought that was your choice." Tuna looked up at him, eyes full of heartbreak and disappointment, as if the last fragile thread of hope inside her had just snapped. She stared at him for a long while, saying nothing. But that look, that silence, was more painful than any angry words could ever be. He panicked, reaching out to grab her hand. Please, tell me, what really happened? Did my mother, did she really do that?" Tuna quietly pulled her hand away, turning her face to the side. Her voice was soft, but cold and sharp, like a thin blade slicing straight into the heart. "Then go home and ask your mother. When you learn the truth, maybe then you'll understand why I can't just come back as if nothing ever happened." She stood up, walking slowly toward the door, each step heavy with the weight of all her unspoken pain, leaving the man behind sitting silently on the bamboo chair, his eyes blank with regret and sorrow. The late afternoon sun faded into dusk. The wind rustled gently through the trees, whispering of the years gone by, years that only Tuna truly understood. Years filled with loneliness and silent wounds. From behind, his voice called out to her, full of sorrow. "Let the child rest for now. I'll come visit you both tomorrow." The door closed. No reply. Not even a backward glance. He stood alone in the yard, swallowed by the growing darkness, while the lights inside quietly dimmed. That night, the ex-husband returned to the old family house, the place where everything had once begun. His mother was sitting on the front porch, sipping tea. As soon as she saw him approaching, she asked immediately, "Well, did you find her?" "Yes, Mother. My wife and our daughter. They're living in the old house by the market." The mother squinted, her face tightening with calculation. "Did she agree to come back?" He shook his head, his voice low and heavy. "No, Mother. She said she won't come back. She won't forgive me, and she won't accept the past." Silence fell between them. Then the mother slowly put down her teacup, her eyes sharp as a knife. "If she won't come back willingly, then we'll make her come back. Bring my granddaughter home. Once her child is here, she'll have no choice but to follow. Even a venomous snake won't abandon its own young." "But, Mother, isn't that too cruel?" The mother clenched her jaw, her voice cold and hissing with anger. "Do you want your child to grow up without a father, without any family? That girl is our blood. As for your wife, whether she comes back or not, if she really cares about her child, she'll come running." The son remained silent for a long moment, then finally nodded, as if surrendering to something beyond his control. "Yes, Mother. I'll find a way to bring my daughter home. Once she's here, my wife will have no other choice." But neither of them knew that Tuna was no longer the same fragile woman they once knew. She had learned how to survive, how to fight all for her little daughter, the one and only treasure she had in this life. The bitter years had forged her into someone stronger, wiser, and no longer easy to intimidate, not even by the man she once loved or the family that once abandoned her. That night, Tu Na lay in bed with her daughter in her arms, staring wide-eyed at the dark ceiling above. A sinking feeling stirred in her chest, a mother's instinct whispering that danger was near. She knew he wouldn't give up so easily, and his mother, the cold-hearted woman who had cast her out while she was still pregnant, would never let her live in peace. Tu Na understood. A storm was coming. But it wasn't hatred that gave her strength. It was a mother's love. She would do whatever it took to protect her daughter from anyone who dared to take her away. What will Tu Na do when faced with the dark schemes of her ex-husband and his mother? Will she break again or rise like a blazing fire? Don't miss the next episode, the battle for her daughter, when a mother is no longer afraid.
Sự chăm sóc của bà, cô ngồi xuống thở dài rồi nhẹ nhàng kể lại mọi chuyện. Mỗi lời nói của cô như một nhịp bước chậm, nặng nề nhưng đầy sự trút bỏ. Cô kể về quá khứ đau thương, về việc mình bị bán như làm vợ khi còn trẻ, phải chịu biết bao khổ cực trong một cuộc hôn nhân mà không có sự lựa chọn. Mỗi câu chuyện cô kể đều chứa đầy những vết thương mà cô chưa bao giờ có thể lành lại. Bà Ánh lắng nghe mà không thể cắt lời. Sự im lặng của bà khiến Nhiên cảm thấy như được chia sẻ, như được an ủi. Những nỗi niềm đau đớn mà cô đã phải ước kín trong lòng giờ đây được bật ra, và cô không cảm thấy cô đơn nữa. Sau khi nghe xong, bà Ánh hỏi thêm về người phụ nữ đã gây khó dễ cho cô. Vậy người phụ nữ đó, con có biết thêm gì về bà ta không? Nhiên hít một hơi dài rồi kể về mẹ chồng cũ của mình. Cô nói về những lần bà ta khiến cuộc sống của cô trở nên ngột ngạt. Những lần bà ta yêu cầu khắt khe, những lời nói cay nghiệt mà bà ta đã dành cho cô. Mỗi câu chuyện cô kể lại, bà Ánh càng thấm thía hơn những nỗi đau mà Nhiên phải gánh chịu.